Hello everyone, my name is Michelle Kemp and I am the author of the proudly South African Funny Farm series. Today I'm going to read you the third book in the series called Diary, the Dairy Cow. This is a very special book to me because I wrote in honor of my sister who struggles with dyslexia. Let's begin. Diary was a very sweet cow. She was always kind and friendly to everyone. She liked to make up stories and funny jokes. She was born on a farm called the Hunky-Dory Farm. Diary had lots of friends at the Hunky-Dory Farm and liked living there. But one day, the farmer discovered that Diary had a problem. He only wanted animals that were perfect at the Hunky-Dory Farm. All the animals had tried to keep Diary's problem a secret, so the farmer wouldn't send her away. The animals at Hunky-Dory Farm didn't understand Diary when she spoke, but they all tried to be friendly because Mother Cow was a very important cow. Mother Cow was the farmer's favorite animal, and he always gave her extra food. When the farmer discovered Diary's problem, even he was sad because he had to get rid of his favorite animal's daughter. Mother Cow was very sad when she heard that the farmer was sending Diary away. The farmer promised he would find a good home for Diary, and so he sent her to the funny farm, where nobody was perfect. Diary wished she didn't have to have a problem that made life so hard. You see, Diary's problem was that she was dyslexic. This meant that she always muddled up her letters. Instead of calling herself Dairy Cow, which is what she was, she called herself Diary Cow. She always mixed up her words and made them sound very funny. Instead of saying it, she said tea. Instead of saying of, she said fo. And instead of goat, she said gart. She struggled to read because she mixed up her letters. It made it very hard to understand Diary. When Diary had first come to the funny farm, she tried to be nice to everyone. She was a nice cow. Everyone had tried to be friends with her, but no one understood her or her problem. Diary couldn't even explain why she spoke like she did. Old Mare tried very hard to listen to Diary, and because she made such a good effort, Old Mare began to understand what Diary was saying. So Old Mare was the only one at the funny farm to whom Diary liked talking and telling stories. Some of the animals laughed at Diary when she talked because she made the words sound so funny. This made Diary very sad. She wanted to talk normally, but she couldn't. She couldn't help mixing up her letters. One day, Diary was in a field, munching on some grass, when the 4 kids came walking towards her. "Hello," they said at the same time. Diary Cow replied, "Hello," which was meant to be hello, but got a bit mixed up. Diary was embarrassed. Nothing she ever said sounded right. "How are you?" asked Kid 1. "My fana," replied Diary, which was meant to be "I'm fine." Kid 3 asked Diary, "Why do you talk so funny?" Diary tried to explain that she was dyslexic, but that was very hard to say in muddled up letters. "Cannot Lala help tea," Diary said finally, which was meant to be "I can't help it." The kids laughed. They thought Diary was trying to be funny. They just weren't being mean. They just didn't understand that Diary couldn't help the way that she talked. Diary was very upset. She was tired of no one ever listening to her. She ran away from the kids, crying. She felt so miserable. She wanted so much to be able to talk normally. She wanted to be able to read interesting stories and tell them to others. Diary ran and ran. Eventually, Diary stopped running and sat down under a big tree. It was a beautiful big green tree, and it made a lovely resting place. It was the tree that Mr. Rooster sat under as he taught all the young animals interesting things like which grass is best and how to tell if a storm is coming. But Diary didn't notice any of this. She was just too upset. She just stood and cried and cried. "Why me?" she thought. "Why do I have to have this problem? Why can't I speak normally? No one ever understands what I'm saying. They laugh at me, but they don't understand how horrid dyslexia is. I wish I could speak like everyone else." Diary didn't muddle up her letters and her thoughts, only when she spoke aloud. After a while, Diary Cow was too tired to cry anymore. So she made a decision. If I can't speak normally, Diary thought, then I won't speak at all." Diary made up her mind not to speak to anyone ever again. She started to walk back to the yard. She needed a good drink of water after so much crying. On her way to the water bucket, she met Mrs. Hen. "Hello, Diary," said Mrs. Hen, but Diary just nodded. She didn't want to say anything. Mrs. Hen thought Diary was being very rude, so she walked away. Diary was sad that she had upset Mrs. Hen, but at least she hadn't been laughed at. When Diary had had a big drink, she saw that Mother Goat had come for a drink as well. "Hello, Diary," said Mother Goat. But once again, Diary didn't say anything. She just nodded. Is something wrong?" asked Mother Goat, who was worried that Diary wasn't speaking. Diary just shook her head. Don't you want to talk to me?" asked a very concerned Mother Goat. Diary just shook her head sadly. No, she didn't want to talk to Mother Goat. She didn't want to talk to anyone. "Oh, okay," said Mother Goat sadly. She quickly finished her drink and walked away, worried and confused. Diary gave a big sigh of relief. Not talking was very hard work. She had to keep biting her tongue and clenching her teeth to stop herself from talking. She liked talking to people. She just really didn't want to be laughed at anymore. It was very hot, so Diary went inside the nice, cool barn to rest. There she met Old Mare. "Hello, Diary," Old Mare said. "Have you come to enjoy the peace and quiet in this nice, cool barn? It's very hot outside today." Diary just nodded. "Is everything all right?" asked Old Mare. Diary nodded again, but there were tears in her eyes. She hated not being able to talk to anyone. "Do you want to talk about it?" asked kind Old Mare. She really cared about Diary. Diary started to shake her head, but suddenly she changed her mind. She had to talk to someone. She couldn't stand never talking again. Besides, Old Mare had never laughed at her or anything like that. Maybe she could even help Diary. "I hate being laughed at when I talk, so I've decided not to talk to anyone anymore," said Diary Cow quickly. Well, at least that's what she meant to say. What she really said was, "Aheta, adabena, alalafta, wahena, tatalok, os, ever dazadada, notato, at talak, at another. But Old knew what Diary meant. Old Mare had known Diary since she was a young calf and had first come to the funny farm. Old Mare had gotten used to mentally switching the letters back to the right way when Diary spoke. In fact, she liked Diary's unusual way of talking. It made Old Mare really listen and concentrate on what Diary was saying, which made it interesting. "Oh," replied Old Mare, "it's such a shame you don't want to talk anymore. I really enjoy listening to you." "You odd?" asked Diary, which meant you do. "Of course I do," replied Old Mare. "You tell lovely stories and very funny jokes. The way you talk just makes your stories more interesting." "I want to talk," explained Diary, "but I don't want to be laughed at." "Well, I don't laugh at you. Only a few animals do laugh at you, but they're not trying to be mean. They just don't understand and think you're trying to be funny." Diary thought maybe Old Mare was right. After all, she was very old and wise. It can be hard for others to understand that you can't help it. It takes quite an effort to be able to understand what you mean. But maybe if you explained it to them all, they would try to understand more, suggested Old Mare. Diary said, "But you, I, to like, want to understand them." Which meant, if I talk to them, they won't understand me. Old Mare thought about that problem for a while. Then she had a brilliant idea. "I understand you," Old Mare explained to Diary. "So how about if you talk to them, and then after that, I tell them what you mean?" "That's a great idea, but would you do all that for me?" said Diary, although it came out sounding like Tahata a Gareat Adae Bato Wadula Ad Tahat just Fudra M. "Of course I would," said Old Mare. "You're so special, and I'd do anything to hear more of your special stories. Especially the one about the bee that can't fly. I love to hear your stories and your pretty voice." Diary smiled a big smile. She loved telling her stories and didn't like not talking, so she thought they could try Old Mare's plan. Old Mare and Diary talked and talked about exactly what they would do. The next day they called all the animals to the middle of the yard. Old Mare explained that Diary had something very important to say. The other animals were worried about how they would understand Diary's important and muddled message. Then Diary started talking. She thanked them all for coming to listen to her, but because it was all muddled up, no one, except Old Mare, could understand her. The other animals were all sad that they couldn't understand Diary. Then Diary turned to Old Mare, and Old Mare told the other animals exactly what she had said, but not muddled up. Now everyone knew what Diary was saying. Diary then explained that she was very sad when they laughed at her. She told them how she couldn't help the way that she spoke. The other animals felt very sorry for laughing at Diary. Then Diary explained that lots of different animals had dyslexia, and it made it hard to read and sometimes to speak. Diary said that it didn't mean she was dumb or couldn't do anything right. It was just a problem she had. She said that as long as others took time to help her and to listen to her, then everything would be all right, and she'd be able to live happily like any other animal. Then Diary made a big announcement that from now on, Old Mare was going to stay near Diary and tell everyone what she meant when she talked or told stories. This was Old Mare's idea because she loved Diary so much. Everyone thought this was a wonderful idea, and they said they were sorry for not trying to listen more. The kids said they were very, very sorry for laughing at Diary, and now they understood why she spoke the way she did. Diary forgave them all because she was a very understanding cow. From then on, everyone loved to listen to Diary's stories and jokes. In fact, she became so famous that she went to other farms to tell her stories. She told them how nice it was to help others who had problems. Diary had lots of help to practice her reading until eventually she could read stories as well as tell them. And the whole time Old Mare told everyone exactly what Diary meant when she muddled the letters up. They became very best friends. Diary even went to the hunky-dory farm one day. She saw all her old friends and the farmer. She told them all about her new life and how she'd solved her problem. The farmer wanted Diary to come back and live at the hunky-dory farm because now she was famous and had solved her problem. But Diary was happy at the funny farm. The farmer realized that he had been very mean to Diary when he sent her away, and very silly because she was perfect just the way she was, even if she was dyslexic. The farmer told Diary he was very sorry for being so mean, and he promised to like all animals from now on, even those with problems. So Diary forgave him and promised to come and visit all her friends at the hunky-dory farm soon. Diary loved to tell all her stories to everyone, and everyone loved to hear Diary's stories. So everyone was happy, and Diary had a very special message for everyone. On Matara, Hawa, Bagi, or Samal, a problem, si, Yaho, Kanai, Meka, Ti, Betara, just Yaba, Talaking, about tea. And if you haven't figured that out, it means no matter how big or small a problem is, you can make it better just by talking about it. Thank you all for listening.